Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am going to discuss about very one important things in order to improve your speaking part, which is listening. What is the beneficials of listening English podcast? Maybe if you want to improve your speaking part, so you have to listen English podcast a lot. The more you listen English podcast, the more you will be able to familiarize yourself with native English speakers if you listen native English speakers audiobooks. So I have to say speaking comes from listening, not from writing, and not from reading as well. So many people have been reading English essay, English code and English books since their elementary schools. So many people is scrolling their mobile phone, they read different articles and so many more things in order to improving their speaking part. That will help them, but it's a little bit. You can able to understand English language, but for speaking you must have to go through listening. I already mentioned you one thing, speaking comes from listening. So the more you listen English podcast, the more you listen English from native English speakers, the more you will be able to familiarize yourself with English language. So the more you listen English audiobooks and podcasts, your mouth will be able to respond English language quickly without thinking, only because of the environment you made for English language. So always try to listening English podcast, and there is definitely some good strategies. What kind of English podcast you need to listen carefully? You have to go through, if you are a beginner, so you have to go through the easy and convenient and simple easy English podcast. But if you are in the intermediate level, you can go through a little bit different English. So you have to improve your complicated, you have to enhance your English complicated thing step by step. So if you are at the beginning level, very beginning level, you have to go through listening English audiobooks, which is very easy and you can understand most probably more than 19% words what they are talking about. So what will be happen in that case? You might be able to keep encouraging yourself. That will help you to keep motivating yourself that you will understand all of those things. And the rest 5% you have to guess what they are talking about. So probably you are going to understand 100% what they are talking, in English podcast. So through that process, you have to listen English podcast on podcast or twice podcast all the time until all of the different vocabularies and words become memorizing in yourselves, memorizing in your brains. So listen English podcast as much as you can. Listen English podcast as much as you can. And step up a little by little. So you have to increase your complicated English language a little by little. And these things will help you a lot to improve your English language. These things will help you a lot to familiarize yourself with English language. The language we have learned, our native language, we didn't read any books. We didn't had to make any effort to learn that language, only because of we have learned that language because of our environment was very familiar with that language. The people around us, they are talking each other using that language, so we have learned that language automatically. We didn't need to make any effort to learn it. So what you can do in English language, you have to make your environment in English language. The more you listen English podcast, the more you able to familiarize yourself with English language, the more easily you can learn English language. So focus on listening English podcast. And what you can do, the things you have learned, you can try to use in your daily conversations. And you have to identify where you're making the mistakes. why are you making the mistakes, and further the next time when you trying to using those sentences, try to solve your problem in your further use, and through that process you can improve your English language little by little. So that will take time, so don't be so hard of yourselves. That will take time, and celebrate your each and every improvement, celebrate your each and every achievement, so through that process you have to keep encouraging yourself, you have to keep motivating yourselves and trying to learn English language every day. Even it's a 15 minutes to 20 minutes in a day, doesn't matter, but you have to try to listen English podcast. And the best way to practicing your English language is to having a English exchange partner, or to having a language exchange partner, so through that process you can practice your English language with that people you have found, or you can record yourself, you can speak in front of the people. But the best way to practice your speaking part is to having a English partner, so try to make a simple conversation with them and step up your English level little by little. So thank you very much. Learn English language each and every day.